Imagine waking up every day with a mind that's in control, emotions that no longer overwhelm you, and a sense of clarity that cuts through the chaos of modern life. What if I told you the power to transform your life is not out there, but within you? In the next few minutes, you're going to discover how mastering your mindset, embracing discipline, and building resilience can not only add years to your life, but to the quality of it. So, are you ready to unlock your full potential? Let's dive in and see how you can start living on your terms. The mind is a powerful thing. It's not just the control center for our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. It is the architect of our reality. Every moment of our lives, we're shaping our world with the thoughts we entertain, the beliefs we accept, and the stories we tell ourselves. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience everything. And if you can master that lens, you can truly begin to reshape your life. Now, let's be clear. The world is unpredictable, chaotic, and often unfair. But what if I told you that none of that matters when you realize the greatest thing you can control is how you respond? Not the circumstances themselves, but your interpretation of them, your perception, your mindset. This is where the power lies. If you can shift your mindset, you can reshape your reality in ways you never thought possible. Think about it. Every time you face a challenge, what do you hear in your mind? Do you immediately tell yourself, I can't do this, or this is too hard? Or do you think, I can find a way, or this is an opportunity to grow? The way you think about challenges will determine whether they break you or make you stronger. The Stoics, some of the most influential philosophers in history, understood this deeply. They taught that it's not the external world that disturbs us, it's our judgment of it. The great Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the essence of mindset, the realization that we are the creators of our experience. The world doesn't dictate how we feel, we do. The power of mindset is not about looking at the world with rose-colored glasses, pretending that everything is perfect. No, it's about learning how to respond with wisdom, strength, and clarity, no matter the situation. It's about seeing problems as opportunities, obstacles as stepping stones, and failures as lessons. When you change your mindset, you change the way you experience life itself. Consider this. When something goes wrong, do you view it as the end of the world or as an opportunity to learn? When a door closes, do you believe it's a sign of defeat, or do you recognize that sometimes the universe is simply redirecting you to something greater? How you answer these questions determines the quality of your life. Because it's not about what happens to you, but how you choose to interpret and respond to what happens. This is where the true power of mindset lies. It's not about avoiding discomfort or trying to control every situation. It's about becoming resilient in the face of adversity. The Stoics didn't shy away from suffering. Instead, they understood that suffering was a natural part of life. What they focused on was how to respond to it, how to use challenges as tools for growth, as pathways to strength, rather than seeing them as obstacles. Your mind can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. It can keep you stuck in self-doubt, fear, and regret, or it can lift you to new heights, reminding you of your resilience, your capacity for change, and your power to create. The key is learning to train your mind to work for you, not against you. So how do you do this? How do you develop a mindset that empowers you, no matter the external circumstances? It begins with awareness. You need to become aware of the thoughts that are running through your mind on a daily basis. Most of us operate on autopilot, allowing negative self-talk, doubts, and fears to govern our lives without even realizing it. The first step is to bring awareness to those thoughts. Once you're aware of your thoughts, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is it true? Is it helping me move forward or keeping me stuck? If the answer is no, then it's time to change the story. You have the power to rewrite your narrative. You can choose to see the world through a lens of possibility, not limitation. Think about how often we limit ourselves with our own beliefs. We tell ourselves we're not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough to achieve what we want. But these beliefs are just that, beliefs. They are not facts. They are stories we've chosen to believe. And like any story, they can be rewritten. When you change the story, you change the outcome. This brings us to another powerful aspect of mindset, self-talk. The way you talk to yourself has an enormous impact on your life. If your inner dialogue is full of self-criticism and negativity, that's exactly what you'll see reflected in your life. But if your self-talk is full of encouragement, strength, and possibility, your life will begin to mirror that. Start by replacing thoughts like, I can't do this with, I will figure this out. Replace, I'm not good enough with, I am capable and worthy. It's not about pretending that everything is perfect or ignoring your flaws. It's about shifting your focus from what you can't do to what you can do. It's about empowering yourself to take control of your life rather than letting your thoughts control you. And when you make this shift, the world will start to look different. You'll begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. You'll start to feel more confident in your decisions, more capable of handling challenges, and more excited about the possibilities in front of you. But mindset isn't just about thinking positively. It's also about taking responsibility for your emotions and reactions. The Stoics were masters of emotional control. They didn't allow their emotions to control them, but instead learned to observe them, understand them, and choose how to respond. This is an essential part of mindset, recognizing that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. When you take responsibility for your emotions, you take your power back. You stop blaming others or external circumstances for how you feel. You stop giving away your peace. Instead, you choose to respond with wisdom and calm. And this, in turn, shapes the reality you experience. The power of mindset is also about the ability to stay focused on what truly matters. It's so easy to get distracted by the noise of the world, the opinions of others, the constant pressure to succeed, the fear of failure. But the Stoics taught that the only thing you truly have control over is yourself. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses. When you focus on what you can control and let go of the rest, you free yourself from the chaos. You stop trying to please everyone, stop chasing every new trend, and stop getting caught up in things that don't align with your values. Instead, you focus on what matters most to you, your goals, your purpose, your growth. This is where true power lies. When you master your mind, you master your life. And when you master your life, nothing can stop you. So, what can you do right now to begin shifting your mindset? Start by taking a few moments each day to pause, breathe, and reflect. Ask yourself, what thoughts are shaping my day? What beliefs are limiting me? What story am I telling myself? And then, choose a different story. Choose one that empowers you. Start small. Start with one positive affirmation each day. Start by challenging one limiting belief. Start by taking responsibility for your emotions. Every small change you make to your mindset will have a ripple effect on every aspect of your life. And over time, you'll begin to see just how powerful this shift can be. The truth is, the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the story you're telling yourself. Change that story, and you change your reality. As you continue on this journey of mastering your mindset, you'll find that the world becomes a lot more exciting. Opportunities will start showing up where you once saw roadblocks. You'll feel more confident in yourself and your abilities. And the best part, you'll begin to experience life not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as a series of opportunities to grow, to learn, and to thrive. And as you shift your mindset, you will unlock the power to transform your life in ways you never thought possible. The key is in your hands. The power is within you. The world is waiting for you to step into your greatness. Are you ready? In the next segment, we'll talk about how to turn this mindset into action, how to build discipline, and how to turn your thoughts into tangible results. The journey has just begun. Life, in all its beauty and complexity, can often feel like a roller coaster. One moment, you're soaring high, and the next, you're tumbling down, faced with challenges that seem impossible to overcome. We've all been there. But what if I told you that while you can't always control what happens to you, you have complete control over how you respond? That's where the power of mastering emotional control lies. Most of us live life on autopilot, reacting to circumstances as they arise, allowing our emotions to drive our decisions. But this way of living is reactive. It's like being at the mercy of a storm. The wind blows, the rain falls, and you're just tossed around. But what if you could be the calm in the storm? What if you could take control of your emotions and navigate through life with clarity, purpose, and resilience? The first step toward mastering emotional control is understanding one powerful truth. You are not your emotions. Emotions are like waves in the ocean. They rise, they fall, and they pass. But most people get caught in the wave. They let the emotion take over, allowing it to dictate their thoughts and actions. The key is learning to recognize that emotions, while valid, do not have to control you. They are not facts. They are temporary responses to the world around you. Imagine this for a moment. You're in a stressful situation. Maybe it's work-related, maybe it's personal. Your heart starts racing, your palms sweat, and your mind floods with anxiety. In that moment, you have two choices. You can let the wave of emotion carry you away, or you can step back, observe the emotion, and decide how to respond. This is the power of emotional mastery, the ability to step back, observe your feelings, and choose how to react. The Stoics, ancient philosophers who mastered the art of emotional control, taught us that we don't control the world around us, but we do control our responses to it. They understood that life is full of unpredictability and challenges. But instead of reacting with anger, fear, or frustration, they chose to respond with calmness, rationality, and clarity. One of the most powerful tools in mastering emotional control is awareness. When you're aware of your emotional triggers, you gain the power to control them. For example, think about a time when you got angry. What triggered that anger? Was it a specific event, a word, or a situation? When you identify the trigger, you gain insight into the underlying emotion driving your reaction. By bringing awareness to your emotional triggers, you can start to diffuse them before they have a chance to control you. Let's take anger, for instance. Anger is a powerful emotion, one that can cloud judgment and lead to actions we regret. But anger is often a secondary emotion. It's a response to something deeper: fear, hurt, frustration, or a sense of injustice. When you get angry, ask yourself, what am I really angry about? What's the deeper emotion at play here? By exploring this, you'll realize that the anger is often not about the situation itself, but about how you're interpreting it. The next step in mastering emotional control is pause and breath. In the midst of intense emotions, our immediate impulse is to act. But in that moment, what if you could pause instead? Pause before responding, pause before reacting, and take a deep breath. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which helps you relax and regain control of your emotions. This simple practice can be a game changer when it comes to emotional regulation. Think about the times when you've responded impulsively. Maybe you've snapped at someone, said something you didn't mean, or acted in a way you regretted later. These actions often happen when we don't take the time to pause and reflect. By training yourself to pause before reacting, you create space between stimulus and response. In that space, you have the power to choose how to respond, rather than letting your emotions decide for you. Let's go deeper into how emotions can influence our behavior. Often, our emotions aren't just isolated experiences. They can trigger patterns of thinking that fuel our reactions. For example, when you're anxious, your mind might race with thoughts of what if this goes wrong? What if I fail? These thoughts only amplify the emotion, creating a cycle that spirals out of control. But when you learn to manage your emotions, you also learn to control your thoughts. And when you control your thoughts, you control your behavior. This is why mindset is so critical. Your mindset shapes how you perceive the world and how you respond to it. A positive, growth-oriented mindset allows you to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats. A resilient mindset helps you stay calm in the face of adversity, knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. And when you have a resilient mindset, emotional control becomes second nature. But emotional mastery doesn't mean suppressing your feelings or pretending they don't exist. It's not about denying the emotional experience, but about channeling it in a productive way. Emotions, when managed properly, can be powerful drivers of action. They can motivate you, inspire you, and fuel your determination. The key is not to let them control you, but to use them as allies in your journey. Another vital aspect of emotional control is perspective. When you're in the middle of a difficult situation, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion of the moment. But by stepping back and gaining perspective, you can shift how you see the situation. Instead of focusing on the pain or the frustration, you can ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Or, how is this challenge helping me grow? The Stoics were masters of perspective. They taught that everything, no matter how difficult, could be viewed through a lens of growth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his journals that every challenge is an opportunity for personal growth. When you shift your perspective in this way, you transform obstacles into stepping stones and setbacks into valuable lessons. Now let's talk about boundaries. Emotional control isn't just about how we respond to situations. It's also about protecting our peace from external influences. Too often, we allow the emotions of others to affect us. Whether it's a colleague's negativity, a friend's drama, or a loved one's stress, we absorb their emotions as if they're our own. But emotional mastery means setting boundaries. It means recognizing when someone else's emotions are not your responsibility and choosing not to take them on. This might be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're someone who cares deeply about others, but it's essential for maintaining your own emotional health. You can be compassionate and supportive without allowing someone else's emotional state to drain you. By setting clear emotional boundaries, you safeguard your peace and protect your energy. At the same time, it's important to remember that emotional control isn't just about reacting to external events. It's also about creating a sense of calm within yourself, regardless of what's happening around you. One of the most powerful tools for cultivating inner calm is gratitude. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you shift your energy from lack and fear to abundance and peace. Gratitude doesn't just change how you feel, it changes how you think. It helps you see the good in every situation, even when things aren't going your way. And when you practice gratitude consistently, it becomes easier to maintain emotional control because gratitude acts as an anchor, pulling you back to what truly matters. It reminds you that even in difficult times, there is always something to be thankful for. And that shift in perspective can make all the difference in how you respond to life's ups and downs. As we continue to explore emotional control, it's essential to understand that mastery doesn't happen overnight. It's a practice. It's about developing a new way of thinking, a new way of responding, and a new way of being in the world. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen your emotional resilience, to practice pausing before reacting, and to choose a mindset that empowers you. In the next section, we'll dive into practical strategies for emotional mastery, tools you can use to navigate life's ups and downs with confidence and grace. From mindfulness practices to the art of emotional detachment, these strategies will help you stay grounded, no matter what life throws your way. So, as we wrap up this segment, I want you to remember that mastering emotional control is not about perfection. It's about awareness, practice, and growth. It's about recognizing that you have the power to choose how you respond to every situation. And when you embrace that power, you become unstoppable. Because no matter what life throws at you, you can navigate it with calm, clarity, and unwavering strength. Life, as we know it, isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's not a smooth, predictable path that we walk from one success to another. Instead, it's a maze filled with obstacles, challenges, and unexpected turns. And here's the reality. How you respond to those challenges, how you handle adversity, determines not just your success, but your sense of peace, purpose, and fulfillment. But how do you build that unshakable strength? How do you forge the resilience needed to push through even the toughest of times? The answer lies in mental toughness. Mental toughness isn't about being unaffected by life's difficulties. It's not about being immune to stress, fear, or doubt. No, mental toughness is the ability to face adversity head-on, to endure through life's challenges with strength, clarity, and resolve. Imagine yourself standing in the face of a storm. Everything around you is chaotic, winds howling, rain pouring down, but you remain steady. You're not swept away by the storm. Instead, you're rooted, grounded, and unwavering. That's mental toughness. It's the ability to stay focused, stay calm, and keep moving forward, even when everything around you seems to be falling apart. But let's break it down further. What does it really mean to be mentally tough? How do you cultivate this kind of resilience? First and foremost, it's important to understand that mental toughness is not something you're born with. It's a skill, a practice, and a mindset that you can develop over time. It's about training your mind, strengthening your emotional resolve, and cultivating a deep sense of inner power. 1. Embrace adversity as a catalyst for growth. The first step in building mental toughness is to reframe adversity. Most people view challenges as setbacks, obstacles that they need to avoid or overcome. But mentally tough individuals see adversity differently. They don't shy away from difficulty, they embrace it. They understand that every challenge, no matter how painful or difficult, holds the potential for growth. Think about the toughest moments of your life. They may have been painful, even heartbreaking, but didn't you emerge from them stronger? Didn't those struggles force you to dig deeper, to discover parts of yourself you didn't know existed? When you face adversity with the mindset that it's an opportunity for growth, you begin to change your relationship with hardship. You stop seeing it as something to fear and start seeing it as something to master. The Stoics, some of the greatest thinkers of all time, understood this concept deeply. They believed that challenges weren't something to avoid, but something to welcome. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, wrote about how adversity tests and strengthens us. In his journals, he often reflected on how he was grateful for difficult moments because they gave him the chance to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. So the next time you're faced with adversity, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me better? By shifting your perspective in this way, you immediately transform the way you experience hardship. Instead of feeling overwhelmed by it, you begin to see it as a stepping stone on your path to greater strength. 2. Train your mind, discipline and focus. Mental toughness doesn't just come from thinking positively, it comes from disciplined thinking. It's about training your mind to stay focused, to stay on track, even when distractions, doubts, and fears try to pull you away. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with distractions. Social media, news, emails, work, and the pressures of daily life all vie for our attention. It's easy to get caught up in the noise, to lose focus on what truly matters. But mental toughness requires discipline. It requires the ability to block out the noise and focus on your purpose. When you set a goal, whether it's personal, professional, or something else, your ability to stay disciplined will determine your success. Discipline doesn't mean being rigid or perfectionistic. It means staying consistent, showing up even when you don't feel like it, and taking action even when it feels difficult. Building mental toughness through discipline also means embracing the discomfort that comes with growth. It's about doing the hard things when they're required, not when it's convenient. When you're able to focus, to block out distractions, and to keep moving forward even when it's uncomfortable, you build a deep reservoir of resilience. 3. Control what you can control. One of the most powerful aspects of mental toughness is the ability to control your response to life's challenges. You can't control the weather, the economy, or what other people do, but you can always control how you react to those things. Mental toughness is about focusing on what you can control, your actions, your mindset, your emotions. When you shift your focus to what you can control, you immediately take the power back into your own hands. You stop being a passive observer in your life and become an active participant. This means taking ownership of your responses, your mindset, and your energy. Instead of reacting impulsively to every setback, you take a step back, evaluate the situation, and respond thoughtfully. In times of stress or adversity, it's easy to get caught up in a spiral of worry, frustration, and anger. But mentally tough individuals don't allow their emotions to control them. They control their emotions. They acknowledge their feelings but don't let them dictate their actions. They understand that their thoughts and actions are the only things they can truly control, and they choose to use them wisely. 4. Resilience in the face of failure. Failure is an inevitable part of life. No one succeeds all the time. In fact, failure is often a prerequisite for success. But it's how you respond to failure that defines your mental toughness. Resilient individuals don't view failure as something to fear. They view it as feedback, as a necessary step in the process of growth. When they fail, they don't wallow in self-pity or blame others. Instead, they pick themselves up, analyze what went wrong, and learn from the experience. They understand that failure doesn't define them, it refines them. The key to building resilience in the face of failure is adopting a mindset of learned optimism. This means looking for the lesson in every setback, finding the silver lining in every dark cloud, and knowing that failure is not the end. It's simply a part of the journey. When you can embrace failure as a teacher rather than a foe, you begin to see it for what it truly is, an opportunity to improve, to strengthen your resolve, and to refine your approach. Each failure becomes a stepping stone to greater success. 5. Cultivate emotional control. Emotions are powerful. They can motivate us, inspire us, and help us connect with others. But emotions can also cloud our judgment, drive us to make impulsive decisions, and make it harder to think clearly. Emotional control is a vital aspect of mental toughness. It's about understanding your emotions and knowing how to manage them in ways that serve you. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It means recognizing that you are in control of your emotional responses. It means acknowledging your feelings, but not letting them hijack your actions. Whether it's anger, frustration, fear, or sadness, emotionally resilient individuals have the ability to regulate their emotions and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This can be achieved through practices like mindfulness, meditation, and deep breathing, tools that help you stay grounded in the present moment and prevent emotions from overwhelming you. Emotional control is not about avoiding emotions. It's about using them as tools for growth and transformation rather than obstacles. 6. Stay consistent and committed. Mental toughness is built on consistency. It's about showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about committing to your goals and your growth, regardless of the challenges you face along the way. Resilient individuals don't let setbacks or obstacles deter them. They remain committed to their journey, even when the road gets tough. They understand that true growth happens when you push through the discomfort, when you keep going even when it feels like the world is against you. Consistency is the foundation of success. It's the small, everyday actions that add up over time and lead to monumental transformation. When you commit to showing up for yourself, whether it's through daily practices of discipline, focus, or emotional regulation, you begin to build unshakable mental toughness. 7. Build a supportive environment. No one builds mental toughness in isolation. While resilience and strength are cultivated within, the environment around you plays a crucial role in shaping your mindset. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, support you, and help you grow. The right people will push you to be better, to think more deeply, and to stay strong in the face of adversity. But the environment isn't just about people. It's about your habits, your routine, and the energy you allow into your life. Surround yourself with positivity, with inspiration, and with growth. Protect your peace by filtering out negativity, distractions, and anything that drains your energy. Mental toughness thrives in an environment that fosters growth, positivity, and support. Create that environment, and you'll be amazed at how much more resilient and strong you become. What's next? Mental toughness is not a trait that you develop once and forget about. It's a lifelong practice, a skill that you continue to refine, build, and strengthen. In the next section, we will explore specific strategies and tools that you can apply to your daily life to continue developing resilience, even when faced with the toughest challenges. From developing your mindset to building daily habits of emotional control, we'll dive deep into the practical steps you can take to stay mentally tough, no matter what life throws your way. Building mental toughness is about choosing resilience every single day. It's about recognizing that the challenges you face are not obstacles. They are opportunities to grow stronger, wiser, and more powerful. When you choose to embrace adversity with resilience, you choose to unlock your full potential. And that's when you truly begin to live life on your terms, with unshakable strength and unstoppable confidence. Focus. It's a word we hear often, and yet, in today's world, it's becoming increasingly elusive. With the constant bombardment of notifications, distractions, and demands from every angle, it's no wonder that staying focused feels like a superpower. But here's the truth. Focus isn't a talent some people are born with. It's a skill you can develop, refine, and strengthen over time. In this fast-paced world, your ability to stay focused, to stay on track in the face of countless distractions, is one of the most powerful tools you can wield. Imagine for a moment, what could you achieve if you could truly harness the power of your focus? If you could cut through the noise and give your undivided attention to what matters most? The possibilities are endless. The problem, however, is that distractions are everywhere. From the moment we wake up until the moment we fall asleep, our attention is constantly being pulled in different directions. We wake up to our phones, to texts, emails, social media updates, and the world's endless demand for our attention. How are we supposed to stay focused when it feels like everything around us is trying to distract us? In this episode, we're going to explore the art of focus, how to not just manage distractions, but how to master them. We'll delve into the strategies that allow you to stay on track amidst the chaos, to find clarity in the noise, and to channel your energy into 1. The distraction paradox, why we're losing our focus. First, let's understand the root of the problem. Why is it that we live in a world with so many distractions, and yet we're still so focused on achieving success? It's a paradox, isn't it? We're more connected than ever before, but that connection often comes at the cost of true focus. We have the world at our fingertips, but instead of deep work and presence, we often find ourselves bouncing from task to task, project to project, with little sense of accomplishment. The human brain was not designed for the constant barrage of distractions that we face today. Research shows that the average person is interrupted or distracted once every 3 minutes. Social media, email notifications, text messages, the endless pull of our devices, it's enough to make anyone feel scattered. Our attention span is shrinking, and our ability to focus for extended periods of time is becoming more difficult. But here's the catch. Distraction is not inherently bad. In fact, it's natural. The human mind is wired for novelty. We're hardwired to respond to new stimuli. Distraction becomes a problem when we allow it to control us. When we give in to the allure of every ping and every notification, we're not just distracted, we're also letting go of our power. Focus isn't about eliminating distractions entirely. It's about managing them. It's about learning how to let go of what isn't important and channeling your attention into the tasks that will move you forward. So the first step in mastering focus is understanding that distractions are a part of life, and the real skill is learning how to handle them without losing sight of your bigger goals. 2. The power of single tasking. Why multitasking is a myth. In today's world, multitasking is often celebrated as a badge of honor. We pride ourselves on being able to juggle multiple tasks at once. But what if I told you that multitasking is actually one of the biggest barriers to productivity and focus? Research consistently shows that multitasking doesn't work. It may feel like you're getting more done, but in reality, you're only spreading your attention thin and reducing the quality of your work. Your brain is not designed to focus on more than one thing at a time. When you try to multitask, you're essentially switching between tasks rapidly, which leads to mental fatigue, confusion, and a decrease in efficiency. The truth is, single tasking is far more powerful than multitasking. When you focus on one task at a time, you give it your full attention, and that's when true productivity happens. When you're completely immersed in what you're doing, time seems to fly, and the work you produce is of a higher quality. So the next time you find yourself juggling multiple tasks, stop. Take a deep breath and choose one thing to focus on. Commit to that task until it's complete, and then move on to the next. This simple shift can dramatically increase your productivity and sharpen your ability to concentrate. You'll find that your work feels more fulfilling, your output improves, and your mind remains clear and sharp. 3. The power of intentionality. Setting your focus with purpose. One of the most powerful ways to increase your focus is by setting clear, intentional goals. Purpose-driven focus is like a lighthouse guiding your ship through the fog. Without it, you're at the mercy of the waves, tossed around by distractions, stress, and uncertainty. But with intentionality, you know where you're going. You know what matters, and you stay anchored to it, no matter what comes your way. Start every day by defining what you want to accomplish. This doesn't mean making a laundry list of tasks, but instead identifying the most important thing you need to focus on. What will make the biggest impact in your life? What will push you closer to your long-term goals? Once you define that, make it your priority. Everything else becomes secondary. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your focus isn't just writing random pages. Your focus is about completing a chapter, finishing a specific section, or writing for a set period of time each day. When you break things down into smaller, manageable chunks, you give your brain a clear target to aim for. This prevents overwhelm and keeps you motivated because you can see progress. By setting intentional goals every day, you turn your focus into a tool that drives you forward, rather than something you're constantly trying to control. The power of intentionality isn't just about achieving things, it's about doing so with clarity, purpose, and alignment. 4. Mindfulness, bringing your awareness back to the present moment. In a world filled with distractions, it's easy to get pulled away from the present moment. Whether you're worrying about the future, ruminating over the past, or simply caught up in the noise of your environment, it can feel like your mind is constantly in a state of distraction. This is where mindfulness comes in. Mindfulness is the practice of bringing your awareness back to the present moment. It's about noticing your thoughts and feelings without judgment and returning to the here and now. When you practice mindfulness, you train your mind to focus on what's in front of you, not what's happening in your head or what's going on around you. One of the best ways to develop mindfulness is through meditation. Even just 5 minutes a day of focused breathing can help you center yourself, quiet your mind, and sharpen your ability to focus. When you make mindfulness a daily practice, you create a mental space where distractions no longer have control over you. You become the master of your attention, and that's when true focus becomes effortless. Mindfulness isn't just about meditation. It's about being fully present in every moment. Whether you're working, talking to someone, or even doing something as simple as eating, practice bringing your full attention to the task at hand. When you stop multitasking, stop thinking about the next thing, and just focus on the present moment, you'll find that your ability to focus improves exponentially. 5. The environment, setting yourself up for focus. Your environment plays a crucial role in your ability to stay focused. Think about it. How many times have you sat down to work, only to find yourself distracted by the clutter around you or the noise from your surroundings? Your environment can either support your focus or sabotage it. To master focus, you need to create an environment that is conducive to concentration. This doesn't mean having a pristine, distraction-free space, but it does mean removing the distractions that are within your control. Turn off notifications on your phone, close irrelevant tabs on your computer, and clear the clutter from your workspace. Create a space that signals to your brain that it's time to focus and do meaningful work. But environment isn't just physical, it's also digital. The digital age brings with it an endless array of distractions, from social media to email notifications to apps that constantly demand your attention. Managing your digital environment is just as important as managing your physical space. Consider using tools like website blockers or time management apps to help keep you on track. 6. The power of rest and recovery, avoiding burnout. In the pursuit of focus and productivity, it's easy to fall into the trap of overworking. The idea of powering through, working long hours, and pushing yourself beyond your limits may seem like the key to success, but in reality, it's a surefire way to burn out. True focus requires balance. It's about working hard, but it's also about resting hard. Recovery is just as important as the work itself. When you take time to rest, recharge, and rejuvenate, you allow your mind to come back stronger and more focused than ever before. Don't feel guilty for taking breaks or stepping away from your work. In fact, some of your best ideas and moments of clarity will come when you give your mind the space it needs to relax. Focus is not about working nonstop. It's about working smart, using your energy efficiently, and knowing when to step back and recharge. 7. Mastering focus, a lifelong journey. Mastering focus isn't a one-time achievement, it's a lifelong practice. Focus is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And just like any skill, there will be times when you feel distracted or overwhelmed. But that's okay. The key is to keep coming back, to keep practicing, and to keep strengthening your ability to focus on what matters most. By applying the strategies we've discussed, embracing mindfulness, creating an intentional environment, learning to single task, and balancing focus with rest, you'll start to see the difference in your ability to stay on track amidst distractions. And as you continue to practice these skills, your ability to focus will only deepen. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the connection between focus and personal growth. How can focus be the key to unlocking your fullest potential? How does mastering focus help you align your actions with your true goals? Stay tuned, because we're about to explore the next step in creating a life of clarity, purpose, and unstoppable focus. By understanding the power of focus, and by committing to developing it each and every day, you unlock the key to achieving anything you set your mind to. Stay focused, stay committed, and watch as your life transforms before your eyes. There is a concept that stands as the cornerstone of every meaningful achievement in life. It's a force that has the power to shape your future, to transform your habits, to change the trajectory of your life: self-discipline. It's often misunderstood or brushed off as something only the most motivated or organized people possess. But here's the truth: self-discipline is not a gift. It is a choice. It's a skill that can be cultivated, honed, and sharpened over time. And it is the key to creating lasting change. You've probably heard that change is hard, that it requires motivation and inspiration, that it's about setting big, audacious goals and then chasing them down with relentless energy. But the truth is, motivation is fleeting. It can come and go like a gust of wind. It's like trying to sail a boat without a rudder. Without self-discipline, motivation is useless. It's the foundation upon which all your dreams, goals, and aspirations are built. In this episode, we're going to dive deep into the role of self-discipline in creating lasting change. We'll explore why it's so crucial, how it connects to your everyday choices, and how you can cultivate it to transform your life in a way that sticks. But most importantly, we'll explore how self-discipline isn't just about controlling yourself, it's about liberating yourself. Liberating yourself from bad habits, procrastination, and self-doubt, and empowering you to build the life you've always dreamed of. 1. The myth of motivation: why waiting for it will keep you stuck. It's a common story we've all told ourselves at some point. I'll start tomorrow. I'll begin once I feel motivated. Once I'm inspired, I'll dive in and do the work. Sound familiar? But here's the truth: motivation is unreliable. It's a fleeting feeling that comes and goes with little warning. Motivation is like a wave, it's unpredictable. Some days you wake up ready to conquer the world, and others you struggle to even get out of bed. If you wait for motivation to get started, you'll find yourself constantly stuck in the cycle of procrastination. But here's where self-discipline steps in. Unlike motivation, self-discipline isn't dependent on how you feel. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. It's about committing to your goals and following through, even on the days when the inspiration isn't there. You show up, day in and day out, because you know that lasting change doesn't come from bursts of inspiration. It comes from consistent effort. Self-discipline is the muscle you build by showing up even when you don't feel like it. And like any muscle, the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So the next time you find yourself waiting for motivation, remind yourself that discipline is the path to change. 2. Building habits, the foundation of self-discipline. The truth is, self-discipline is built on habits. Good habits are the foundation upon which self-discipline thrives. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has built positive habits that enable them to perform at their best, day in and day out. Whether it's waking up early, exercising, reading, or sticking to a structured routine, habits create the structure that makes success inevitable. But here's where many people fail. They try to make massive changes all at once. They want to overhaul their entire life overnight, believing that drastic changes will lead to long-term success. But the truth is, this approach rarely works. Change doesn't happen in one fell swoop. It happens slowly, incrementally, through the compound effect of small, consistent actions. Start by focusing on small habits that align with your bigger goals. Maybe it's setting aside 10 minutes each morning to plan your day, or maybe it's committing to just 10 push-ups before bed. These small habits build momentum. They prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are committed to the process. Over time, these habits stack up, creating a solid foundation that leads to significant change. 3. The power of consistency, showing up every day. One of the most powerful aspects of self-discipline is consistency. Consistency is what separates the dreamers from the doers. We all have big dreams, but what sets the successful apart is their ability to show up every day and put in the work, no matter how they feel. Think about the most successful people in the world. They don't just work when they feel like it. They work because they know that their success is built on the consistent application of effort. Whether it's a musician practicing daily, an athlete training rigorously, or an entrepreneur building their business one brick at a time, they are all committed to showing up, even on the hard days. Self-discipline isn't about working harder than everyone else. It's about committing to the process, no matter how long it takes. It's about showing up, even when it feels like you're not making progress. Because real change doesn't happen in a day. It happens over months and years, through consistent effort, day in and day out. So ask yourself, what could I accomplish if I showed up consistently? What could I achieve if I kept pushing, even when the results weren't immediate? 4. Self-control, the skill of saying no to temptation. Self-discipline isn't just about pushing yourself to work harder. It's also about knowing when to say no. Saying no to distractions, saying no to the things that don't serve you, and saying no to the things that take you off course. One of the hardest aspects of self-discipline is resisting temptation. We live in a world of instant gratification. We want things now, comfort, entertainment, success, and it's easy to give in to the momentary pleasure that these things offer. But here's the truth. Giving in to temptation is the easiest way to derail your goals. It's the quicksand that slowly pulls you under. Self-discipline is about learning to say no to the things that take you away from your purpose. It's about resisting the urge to procrastinate, the temptation to check your phone, the pull of distractions that prevent you from staying focused on what matters. When you say no to the wrong things, you're saying yes to your goals, your future, and your potential. You're reclaiming your time and energy, and you're investing them in the things that truly matter. 5. The power of delayed gratification, building the muscle of patience. Delayed gratification is one of the most powerful aspects of self-discipline. It's the ability to forego instant pleasure for long-term rewards. And while this concept is simple, it's not always easy. We live in a world where everything is available at the touch of a button. Want a snack? Order it online. Want entertainment? Stream it now. Want a new gadget? Click buy and it's on its way. The constant barrage of instant gratification is dangerous for your long-term success because it trains your brain to seek immediate rewards instead of focusing on delayed outcomes. Self-discipline teaches you to delay gratification. It teaches you that real rewards come not from the things you get in the moment, but from the effort you put in over time. When you resist the urge to give in to instant pleasure, you build patience, perseverance, and emotional resilience. You train your mind to stay focused on the bigger picture, the long-term rewards that come from consistent hard work. 6. Overcoming resistance, the battle against procrastination. Procrastination is the enemy of self-discipline. We've all been there, the task we know we need to do but keep pushing aside. We tell ourselves that we'll get to it later, that we're just not in the mood. But here's the harsh truth: procrastination doesn't serve you. Procrastination thrives on resistance. It feeds on the idea that things are too hard, too overwhelming, or too boring. But the key to overcoming procrastination is understanding that the resistance you feel is temporary. The longer you put something off, the bigger that resistance becomes. The trick is to take the first step. Break down the task into manageable pieces and simply start. Once you begin, the resistance fades and momentum takes over. Self-discipline isn't about making things easy. It's about doing what you know is necessary, even when you don't feel like it. When you face resistance head-on and push through, you not only complete the task, but you also prove to yourself that you can do hard things. And that confidence builds over time, strengthening your ability to take on bigger challenges in the future. 7. Cultivating the habit of reflection, learning from your failures. Self-discipline is not about perfection. It's not about never making mistakes or always getting everything right. It's about learning, growing, and adjusting. One of the most powerful tools for self-discipline is reflection. Reflection allows you to learn from your experiences, to identify what's working and what's not, and to course correct as needed. When you reflect on your actions and choices, you become more self-aware, and self-awareness is the foundation of growth. Don't fear failure. Failure is a teacher. Every setback is an opportunity to learn and improve. Reflect on your mistakes and use them as fuel to grow stronger. 8. Mastering the art of self-discipline, a lifelong journey. Building lasting change doesn't happen overnight. Self-discipline is a lifelong journey, not a destination. It's about small, consistent efforts that compound over time. It's about committing to the process and trusting that the results will come. So ask yourself today, what small changes can I make today that will help me build self-discipline? What habits can I begin cultivating that will lead to lasting change? The art of self-discipline is about mastering yourself, controlling your impulses, and aligning your daily actions with your larger goals. It's about taking responsibility for your choices and knowing that every choice you make either brings you closer to or further from the life you want. In the next episode, we'll explore how self-discipline leads to freedom. Freedom from distractions, from procrastination, and from the limiting beliefs that hold you back. We'll dive into how discipline isn't about restriction, but about creating the space for the life you truly desire. Stay tuned. The journey has just begun. You've heard it before. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. It's a quote often attributed to motivational speaker Jim Rohn, but its truth extends far beyond a simple catchphrase. The environment you create for yourself, the people you surround yourself with, the spaces you inhabit, and the influences that shape your thoughts have a profound impact on who you become. If you want to grow, to reach your full potential, to unlock the best version of yourself, you need to build an environment that nurtures your growth. You don't live in a vacuum. Every single aspect of your life influences you, from the people you talk to every day to the physical space around you. This is a truth that can no longer be ignored if you're serious about creating lasting change. Now, before we dive in, understand that building a growth-oriented environment doesn't just happen by chance. It's not something that you wake up to one morning and discover. It takes awareness, intentionality, and action. And the results? They are absolutely transformative. You see, growth doesn't just happen in a bubble. Growth is an ecosystem, a collection of influences that either elevate or hinder you, depending on how you curate them. 1. People, the power of your inner circle. Let's begin with one of the most significant factors in your growth, the people you surround yourself with. Your inner circle, the people who influence your thoughts, energy, and outlook on life. Do you realize how powerful they are? Think about it. We've all had moments where a conversation with the right person ignited something within us. Or perhaps a conversation with the wrong person left us feeling drained, deflated, or unsure of ourselves. The energy, beliefs, and values of those around you shape your own beliefs and energy. This is a fact that's been proven again and again. If you want to grow, you need people around you who inspire you to be better. You need people who challenge your thinking, who push you to do more, who see the best in you when you can't see it in yourself. The people you associate with should be those who elevate you, who don't just accept mediocrity but encourage greatness. Look around. Are the people in your life lifting you up or holding you down? It's not about cutting people out of your life just for the sake of it, but it is about becoming selective with where you invest your time. If you find yourself surrounded by negativity, complacency, or people who are content with mediocrity, it's time to ask yourself if these are the kinds of people who will help you get to where you want to go. Instead, surround yourself with those who encourage your dreams, who believe in your potential even when you don't, and who provide constructive feedback instead of just praise. These are the people who will challenge you, hold you accountable, and help you grow. You also need to surround yourself with individuals who have different strengths and experiences than you. Diversity in your circle doesn't just mean racial or cultural diversity. It's about having a range of perspectives that will push you to think differently, see things from new angles, and approach problems creatively. Remember, your growth is the result of the sum of the people you engage with on a daily basis. Choose your inner circle wisely, for they can either be your greatest asset or your greatest hindrance. 2. Spaces, the physical environment that shapes your mind. We often hear that our mental state is influenced by our thoughts, but what about the spaces we inhabit? The physical environment you surround yourself with plays an enormous role in how you feel, how productive you are, and how much clarity you have. When it comes to growth, you need a space that supports your ambitions, a space that feels empowering, motivating, and inspiring. It's not just about what's on the walls, but the energy in the room. Is it cluttered? Is it chaotic? Or is it clear, intentional, and aligned with your values? Here's an example. Think about the last time you tried to work in a cluttered space. It's chaotic, right? Every time you look at your desk, there's a pile of papers, coffee mugs, or miscellaneous items scattered all over. It's hard to focus in a space like that, and you know it. But when your environment is organized, clean, and intentional, your mind tends to follow suit. You can think clearly, feel at ease, and dive deeper into your work. A growth-oriented environment needs to be one that nurtures focus, creativity, and peace. So, ask yourself, does my physical space align with the kind of person I want to become? Here's the deal. Your environment is a reflection of your mindset. If your space is cluttered, chaotic, or uninspiring, it's a sign that something may be off inside. On the other hand, if your environment is calm, organized, and designed to help you be your best, you're much more likely to make meaningful progress toward your goals. That doesn't mean you need a fancy office or a mansion. It's about the little things. Whether it's organizing your workspace, adding elements of inspiration to your home, or creating a designated area for creativity, your space matters. Start by removing distractions, things that drain your energy or pull you away from what matters. Fill your space with things that energize you, a vision board, inspiring quotes, books that challenge you, or something that makes you feel grounded. 3. Influences, the media, information, and content you consume. Now, we need to talk about one of the most subtle, yet powerful influences on your growth, the media, information, and content you consume. Think about how much information you take in on a daily basis. Whether it's social media, TV, news, podcasts, or books, what you consume influences your mindset, your mood, and your actions. In a world of constant information overload, it's essential to be intentional about what you let into your mind. Are you consuming content that aligns with your growth and aspirations, or are you allowing distractions, negativity, and mindless entertainment to hijack your attention? Your mind is like a sponge. It soaks up everything it comes in contact with. If you're constantly absorbing negative news, toxic social media posts, or gossip, you're training your mind to focus on fear, judgment, and limitation. But when you intentionally surround yourself with content that challenges you, inspires you, and helps you grow, you're feeding your mind with the nourishment it needs to thrive. This could mean following people who motivate you on social media, listening to podcasts that push your thinking, or reading books that broaden your perspective. But it also means being mindful of what you consume. Guard your mind. Protect it from unnecessary negativity. If you're serious about growth, be deliberate with what you let into your life. Follow creators, leaders, and thinkers who align with your values and ambitions. And remember, information doesn't just flow from books or social media. It's in the conversations you have, the news you consume, and the podcasts you listen to. Choose wisely. 4. The intersection of people, spaces, and influences. When you start curating your environment, the people, the spaces, and the content, you begin to create a powerful ecosystem of growth. And when these elements work together, they amplify your potential in ways you can't even imagine. Picture this. You surround yourself with people who push you to grow, and you design your space to reflect that growth. You fill your life with content that inspires you and teaches you how to get better every day. You're now in a flow, a state where everything around you supports your journey toward becoming your best self. When your physical space is aligned with your goals, your inner circle is made up of people who lift you up, and your content choices nourish your mind, you begin to operate at a higher level. You make better decisions, you show up more consistently, and you approach every challenge with confidence. This is what happens when you build a growth-oriented environment. It's not just about adding one thing here or there. It's about creating an ecosystem that works in harmony with your goals and aspirations. It's about living with intention, creating a life that supports your journey at every turn. 5. Building your growth-oriented environment, a practical guide. So, how do you begin to build your growth-oriented environment? It starts with awareness and intention. Here are a few steps you can take right now. Evaluate your circle. Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Are they encouraging your growth or holding you back? Start making intentional decisions about who you invest your time in. Cut out toxic relationships and surround yourself with those who elevate you. Design your space. Take a look at your physical environment. Does it reflect your goals and aspirations? Start by clearing clutter, organizing your workspace, and adding items that inspire you. Create a space that encourages focus, creativity, and productivity. Curate your content. Pay attention to the information you consume. Are you feeding your mind with negativity or inspiration? Begin following thought leaders, reading books, listening to podcasts, and consuming content that supports your growth. Set boundaries. Protect your time and energy. Say no to distractions and anything that doesn't align with your goals. Establish routines that prioritize your growth and stick to them. Commit to consistency. Building a growth-oriented environment is a lifelong process. Make it a habit to assess and refine your people, spaces, and influences on a regular basis. Consistency is key. 6. The future starts today. Building a growth-oriented environment doesn't happen overnight, but every step you take today is an investment in your future. When you surround yourself with the right people, create spaces that inspire you, and curate content that challenges you, you're setting yourself up for success. The question is, are you ready to take control of your environment? Your growth starts now, with the choices you make in every moment. The people you choose to engage with, the spaces you fill with intention, and the content you consume, all of it plays a part in shaping your future. It's time to build the ecosystem that will support your greatest ambitions and elevate your life to the next level. So go ahead, take the first step. Create your growth-oriented environment and watch how it transforms every aspect of your life. Because when you create a space where you can thrive, the sky is the limit. As we come to the end of this journey, let's take a moment to pause and reflect on something truly profound: purpose. It's a word that's thrown around a lot, but very few people understand its depth. Purpose is not just about having a goal. It's about living with intention every single day. It's about making deliberate decisions that align with your values and create a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. And here's the thing, it's easy to get lost in the hustle. The noise, the pressure, the distractions. Life moves fast, and it can feel like you're always playing catch-up. But if you can learn to slow down, if you can carve out space for clarity and focus, you'll realize something. The life you want, the life full of depth, meaning, and real connection, is in your hands. The most important question is how you choose to answer it. Purpose starts with clarity. Before anything else, let's define what clarity means. Clarity is the ability to see things as they truly are, free from the fog of distraction, free from the constant pull of other people's expectations. It's about understanding what you truly want and why you want it. So the first step in creating a life of purpose is to get crystal clear on your values. What really matters to you? What kind of person do you want to become? The power of clarity is immense because once you know what you truly care about, everything else becomes easier to navigate. The distractions, the noise, the external pressures, they no longer have the same grip on you. It's like trying to drive with a foggy windshield. You can still move forward, but it's risky, uncertain. Now imagine cleaning that windshield, wiping away the fog. Suddenly you can see the road ahead, the obstacles, the opportunities, everything in clear view. That's clarity. And it's the first step toward purpose. The path to purpose. Building a life of purpose doesn't come from following a blueprint laid out by someone else. It's not about following trends, copying what others are doing, or living according to a standard that doesn't fit you. True purpose comes from within. It's about defining what success looks like for you, on your terms, not anyone else's. When you build your life on purpose, you stop drifting. You no longer wake up every day reacting to life. You wake up creating life. You make conscious decisions, whether they're small or big, that align with your goals, your dreams, and your core values. Purpose doesn't have to be something grand. It doesn't mean you have to change the world or become a millionaire. It means living in alignment with what feels right to you. Maybe your purpose is to be an incredible parent. Maybe it's to write a book that inspires others. Maybe it's to build a business that serves your community. Whatever it is, when you live with purpose, everything has meaning. And it starts with one step: choosing. Let go of the noise. In today's world, noise is everywhere. Social media, emails, constant notifications. Your attention is constantly being pulled in 1,000 different directions. But in the chaos, there is a lesson. The more you're pulled away from your focus, the less power you have over your life. If you want to create a life of purpose and clarity, it's time to let go of the distractions that do nothing but steal your time and energy. Take a step back and assess your life. Where is the noise coming from? Is it the endless scrolling? The toxic relationships? The overscheduling? Whatever it is, take control. Declutter your life, physically, mentally, and emotionally. When you free yourself from the unnecessary noise, you make space for the things that matter. You create a life where your energy goes toward what truly fuels your growth. That's how you can live with purpose. You can no longer afford to give your energy away to things that don't align with your goals. The power of consistency. It's one thing to know what you want, and another to do the work to get there. And the truth is, the work is where most people get stuck. They get excited, motivated, but when things get hard, they quit. They lose focus. They drift back into their old habits and mindsets. But here's the key. Consistency is everything. Consistency isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up, day after day, even when you don't feel like it. Even when the road gets tough. Even when the obstacles seem insurmountable. You're building a foundation. And just like a builder doesn't throw up a skyscraper in one day, you don't build a meaningful life overnight. It takes time, it takes effort, and it requires you to be patient with yourself. But each small step, each day of consistent action, brings you closer to the life you've imagined. And here's what happens when you keep showing up with consistency. You create a cycle of success. As you see small victories, your confidence grows. As your confidence grows, your motivation gets stronger. And soon, the vision you had for your life starts to become your reality. Protect your peace, protect your power. Creating a life of purpose and clarity doesn't just come from taking action. It comes from protecting your peace. The more aligned you become with your values, the more you understand what really matters to you, the more you'll realize that peace is the foundation of everything you do. When you're at peace with yourself, when you know who you are and what you stand for, nothing can knock you off course. Not the opinions of others, not the pressure of the world, not the obstacles that life throws your way. You'll be grounded, anchored in your truth, and no external force will have the power to throw you off balance. This is why it's essential to guard your peace fiercely. Protect it from negativity, from unnecessary drama, and from anything that doesn't serve your purpose. When you protect your peace, you protect your power. You stop letting things outside of you dictate your inner state. You remain in control. The power of a clear, focused vision. To create a life of purpose and clarity, you need a vision. This vision is what pulls you forward. It's the force that keeps you going, even on the hardest days. Without a clear vision of what you want, it's easy to get lost in the mundane, to become distracted by what's happening right now and forget about the bigger picture. But when you have a clear vision, everything changes. You make decisions faster, with more confidence. You move toward your goals with clarity, because you know exactly where you're headed. And even when things go wrong, because they will, you won't be deterred. You'll see the setbacks as part of the process, as stepping stones toward your ultimate destination. So, if you haven't already, take some time today to get clear on your vision. Write it down. Create a vision board. Let that vision guide your decisions, your actions, and your life. Because when you know exactly where you're going, nothing can stop you. Creating a legacy of meaning. Finally, I want you to think about this. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? How do you want people to remember you? Is it for the things you accomplished, or for the person you became along the way. A life of purpose is not about accumulating wealth, fame, or material possessions. It's about the impact you have on others, the love you give, and the way you've shaped the world with your presence. When you live with purpose, you're not just living for today. You're creating something that lasts beyond you. Your legacy is built in the everyday moments, the choices you make, the values you embody, and the love you spread. The final step, take action today. So, as we close, I want to leave you with a challenge. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take action today. Start small. Choose one thing, just one thing, that will bring you closer to your purpose. And do it. You already have everything you need within you. The power to change, the power to create a life of purpose and clarity, it's already there. All you need to do is step into it. Your life is not something to be lived by default. It's something to be lived by design. So, create the life you want. Make it purposeful, make it meaningful, and make it count. Because when you choose to live with purpose and clarity, you don't just add years to your life. You add depth to every moment you live. Let this be your call to action. What will you create today?